So basically, he knows everything that's coming. He knows that there's a Banshee on its way, and MMA doesn't actually know the location of his base, so he's going to send an SCV cross position while the Banshee goes vertical, and it won't have to get all the way over there because the SCV will die, thus giving away the location. Obviously, you wouldn't have a bunker shooting at an SCV if you're not there. Missile turrets are already up because he had ample time to prepare. You'll notice that he has a missile turret in each mineral line and one defending his production. The rest, the little sweet spots that the Banshee can potentially get should be warded away by the Viking. As the with the missile turrets in the correct spot, there shouldn't be blind spots like this. So this missile turret is actually a little too far back. It needs to be closer to that factory slightly, and so that's why there's a blind spot and he's forced to use a scan. He's gonna have to go home with his Banshee as there's not really anywhere else he can go. Well, now that he has two Banshees, he can try multi-pronged aggression as there's only one Viking out. But he may want to repair his Banshee first, so we'll see how he plays it out exactly. It's going to be Hellions as a unit of choice for Yoda in the early game, so basically Yoda is implying that he wants to play a mech game. The Banshee will get away. He can't see it anymore. There's going to be a light harass from the Hellions of Yoda, or a Hellion from Yoda, a pair of Hellions perhaps. Let's see. Unit lost. Okay, those are just SCVs, so... well, he will lose that Hellion now. So basically, he's gonna go poke. He went and poked with a Hellion, and so okay, everything's more or less as I expected. These Marines want to take the watchtower, but this Banshee is gonna prevent them from doing so. And the Widowmine gonna burrow, but it won't fire as the Banshee killed it already. So. At the Marine that it was going to fire at, that is. Scan's gonna go down. So Yoda sees that there's a, I mean, basically the same buildings he saw earlier. Everything's as it was. He's gonna keep increasing his Hellion count. I imagine he'll go for Blue Flame soon, if he hasn't already. Let's see. I do not see it. Where is it? Okay, he doesn't have Blue Flame yet. It just finished. Oh no, that's not Blue Flame, is it? No, that is Blue Flame. Okay. Yeah, I don't play Terran. Okay. MMA is gonna take his third now. So this is a
add-on complete.
It's an interesting location for a third. In a TVT, I understand it. Basically, he just wants to change the pathway of. He wants to be able to take his fights here or here. He wants. He likes the dual. Basically, it allows him to take different angles if his army is out of position. And what I mean by this is, if he's here and his army is back here, he can't swing around because the rocks are in the way. But whereas here, if his army is not quite where he wants it, there's some room for him to adjust. And since he's going for this airplay, it makes a lot of sense. There's going to be Hellbat drops now with Blue Flame, so this is Yoda's way of harassing for a large portion of the game. It will continue to be his... this will be his ongoing harassment for basically until MMA does something that makes it inefficient to do this, which will take quite some time. I mean, he's going to need like several missile turrets or widow mines or something to make it cost inefficient for Yoda. If he really wants to shut it down before it ever occurs. It's just going to be an annoyance, since there was the Hellbat nerf some time ago. He's going to lose a medevac to these Vikings, and that's part of what I mean. I mean, if he loses too many medevacs, he'll stop, because there's no sense in losing, what is that? 500 minerals and 100 gas on a regular basis. MMA is going to go up to 5 bases, actually. And the reason for this is because he's playing air. So we're going to see some Sky Terran out of him. The fusion core is done. So he's going to go over to battleships as quickly as he possibly can.
Upgrade complete.
To combat this, Yoda is going to add in Thors. But I don't think he really knows what he's up against. I think he's just building Thors because, oh gosh, I've seen a lot of Vikings and a lot of Banshees out of you. I better get more anti-air than just Vikings.
Complete.
I don't think it's entirely clear that it's... let's see, does he know about this fusion core? He did see it constructing, but that may not have registered. He will definitely know in the next 2 minutes. It will be kind of obvious, as there are already battle cruisers out. I really like MMA's map vision in this scenario. You'll notice he basically sees everything on the map. I mean, he's not looking into the base of his opponent. He can use scans for that if he really wants. But essentially, he's keeping everything spread out with these... let's see, what is he using? He's using Marines largely. So cheap units. I mean, he's playing like a Zerg plays, essentially. Where he takes the watchtowers, use a siege tank there, a marine, and a widow mine. So, I mean, he's using his factory tech to take the... Banshee's going to shoo this marine away. Now, he's going to use his factory tech to secure the watchtower. So it's a cost-efficient setup. And then he uses his really light mineral units to basically check all the little spots. And basically, he should always know what's going on. As long as he scans, he's going to be able to see, okay, he'll be able to scan to see the army, he'll scan to identify the positioning of the siege tanks, the planetary fortress, things like that. Yoda's going to move out with his Hellions and look to put on as much pressure as he can. He sees the battle cruisers now, so he's definitely aware of what's going on, and he has built Ravens as well. So between the Ravens and the Thors, he has a composition that can potentially deal with this, but it is going to require a lot of micro and good army positioning So he can't aimlessly take a fight. He must be very intentional about how he does so. And at the end of the day, I do like MMA's composition better, largely because it's just easier to use. It's harder to get to that composition, but it is easier to use in a straight-up engagement. Now, he is going to have to micro his whatever gets hit with the Heat Seeker missiles away. But
Mineral field depleted. Add-on. Upgrade complete.
you cannot A-move Ravens, essentially, is what I'm saying. They're a spell-based unit, so you can't just A-move them. Yoda is going to start to be aggressive now. He doesn't know about the 5th from MMA, or the 6th. MMA is being very greedy, and he can, because he's taken so much map vision. He's taken, he has the quote-unquote better army composition. This doesn't mean that Yoda can't combat it, but Yoda has to do something. And so, since MMA realizes that the pressure is on Yoda to change the fate of the game, oh wow, I sound like I'm talking about Brave.
Upgrade complete.
Since it's his responsibility to change the outcome.
Did you follow the list?
Yeah. He knows he can sit back, he can be greedy, and he can play defensively. And as long as he defends what he has, he will eventually end up on top. He has the economic advantage. He has the
Base is under attack.
army advantage. So he's just gonna sit back. He is gonna poke, and he will deny a base. Meanwhile, that's really all he needs to do. Deny bases and defend. He doesn't have to engage like Yoda has to engage. These point defense drones are actually going to be more critical than the Heat Seeker missiles. The Heat Seeker missiles matter, but MMA has point defense drones and Heat Seekers of his own, as he did go air. So, I mean, this is really going to be a Raven battle, more than anything else. Missile turret positioning will also matter, as both have a strong air army. Obviously, MMA is pure air, whereas Yoda is half air, half mech. This will have some interesting complements to it. He's gonna split everything up, and these scans basically are trying to ensure damage, but they may not be able to. MMA is going to evacuate his orbital from that location. And I mean, this is not good for Yoda. He's on 4 bases. But essentially, all MMA has to do is make sure that his entire army does not die. As long as he keeps 50% of his army intact, as Yoda takes poor engagements, MMA will be able to come out on top. Yoda is making the best of this situation, though, as he is putting pressure on MMA. He's taken back a lot of map control, and that's really critical here. MMA, however, has managed to pick off those siege tanks that were pressuring his 5th expansion. These Marauders are going to come from behind after shutting down that 5th from Yoda, and they're going to force Yoda to reposition his ground army a little bit, but that shouldn't matter too much. A lot of Heat Seeker missiles going down, but the majority of those are just going to fizzle out. That's my sister. Um,